and shine. I'm so glad you're here this morning. So today we're going to pick up a little bit from where we left off the other day. We were talking about, if you weren't here on Monday, oh, you missed a good one. But fortunately, you can go back and get it. We talked about insecurities and how our insecurities sometimes block us, stop us, because we become so used to the pain of whatever our circumstances have become, that pain has become normal. And now those normal things that are not our best have stuck around too long. So what do? Now we've created insecurities. We've created weaknesses in our foundation. That's what an insecurity is, right? If we were just what is an insecurity? Somehow an insecurity is a weakness in the foundation, in your foundation of your belief about yourself. Somehow the messages have gotten wired, crisscrossed up, and what you came here to be and do has now weakened in the foundation, and you don't believe that you can be or do that part of you. Does that make sense? That's how we get insecure. So the only way that insecurities, though, can continue to plague us is that we have not identified and or eradicated the sponsoring event of this insecurity. Where did I get the crack in my foundation? Where did the crack in the foundation occur? Okay. Now, I know for some of you, you're thinking, but Coach Mo, you don't know what really was going on in my life 20 years ago. The reason that I am insecure about these things today. And I understand that 20 years ago, there were some things that happened. It might have been more. It might have been 30 years ago, might have been 40 years ago. I understand that some things have happened that have cracked in your foundation that has now created what we see today as insecurities in you, okay? So I know that it's real, but what I want you to understand is that if you go back and deal with it, that you can change it. Now, when I say deal with it, I know that people have a different understanding of deal with it than what Coach Mo means, okay? So what I'm saying is, when I say when you need to deal with old insecurities and deal with things that have taken you out of the game, you need to deal with them in such a way that you deal with them completely. Not just, oh, I don't think about that anymore, or oh, I'm not dealing with that. But when insecurities have created cracks in the foundation of your very being, now you don't know who you were. You've only become a damaged version of you from the pain that has become normal. So see how we take the Monday's call and bring that right into play. So what do we do? What do we do different? First, we have to recognize and realize that we have got to release all that has come before this moment that does not serve us. Because that is how the crack got in the foundation in the first place that caused the insecurity that makes you act and move in this way that you do. So when you're not being your most authentic self and you're not being your strongest self, it is because there's a weak part of you that is coming to the forefront, that is overtaking the powerful part of you. It's taking away the God resembling part of you that says, I can be and do and have anything. So the question is, have you dealt with the stuff that caused the cracks? Most of us haven't really dealt with it. Now, dealing with it with you one-on-one is what I do every day in these red chairs. So if you're ready to deal with it and you're ready to take some next steps, then come on and get in one of these chairs and we can fix it. We can really fix it. Fix it, not fix it for a little while so that you could get through the rest of the year. I'm talking about fix it for good. But what does that really even mean? That means that you are holding on to the pain of your past for so long that you think that shit is real. It's not real. You have a version of you that is uncracked foundation waiting to be exposed. That is your authentic self. That is your natural you. That is the part of you that identifies with all of this in me. Where you say, well, I'm not that outgoing, but you can be. Oh, I'm not that outspoken, but you can be. If the things that had happened in your life had not happened that knocked you down, you'd be standing. So how much taller could you be standing if you resolved the things that have knocked you down? So the question remains, have you dealt with it? Are you dealing with it? Or are you just moving along past things saying, oh, I don't deal with that anymore, which really means, oh, I don't think about that anymore, which really means I think about that thing all the time. I just push it down as often as I possibly can. But then what? It's still sucking the life out of you. It's still sucking and draining your battery of your source energy. So how can you replenish and replace your source energy if everything is being drawn out of you? You can't. It is just about impossible. So I want to give you an analogy this morning to help you always think a different thought on this subject. Let's say if by dealing with things, it was the same as when we cleaned our closet, okay? Now, I want you to really pay attention because I don't want you to miss this. Because this right here that I'm about to share with you, this is the whole lesson. So let's say you're cleaning out your closet. And then a couple months later, you remember that sweater that you wanted to wear. That brown sweater. Oh, yeah, I got that brown sweater. It would go great with these pants. So you go to the closet and you look for the brown sweater. And then it hits you. Oh, I gave away the brown sweater to the Goodwill. Do you ever go back and do that again? Do you ever now, 2 months after that, go back to the closet looking for the brown sweater so that you can have this remembering all over again that you gave it away? No. Once you gave it away, you gave it away. Now, once you recognize that you went looking for it and now you remembered that you gave it away, you really remember that you gave it away. So, do you go back to the closet of your old pains and hurts and keep bringing them up? Absolutely. Every time you meet somebody new, you tell them about all the old, worst, bad shit that ever happened to you. You run it down to them. Every time you go back to your mama's house, every time you go back to your family, every time you go back to this, every time you go back to there, you run down all the things that are wrong, all the stuff that has happened. You keep bringing it up. You keep bringing it up. You keep bringing it up. You keep posting about it. You keep talking about it. You keep reliving it. You keep giving it power. So when you keep giving it power and then it keeps showing up, why are you confused? Because you keep bringing it up. Because you keep going to your closet looking for something that you're supposed to have given up. So have you really let it go? Is the question I'm asking you today. Or are you just saying to yourself, oh, I let it go. I'm not thinking about it. But is it like the apps in your phone taking up all your memory, your space, your CPU usage? Or have you really set it down and let it go? See, our insecurities have come because of those negative experiences that have occurred that somehow took the wind out of our sail, somehow took the belief out of our soul, our belief about ourselves, because somebody else did something that made us think we weren't good enough. But that's not true. That might have been their version of you that you weren't good enough, but you know that you're good enough. You know that you can be better than you are in the moment that you're in. But you cannot be better in the moment that you're in if you're still holding on and carrying into this moment your past. So in order to meet your future, you must set your past down. But you must set it down in such a healthy way that you could talk about it, look it square in the face, and have no feeling of negativity that arises. That is how you know you have dealt with it. That is how you know you have forgiven. So have you forgiven? Have you dealt? Have you filled in the cracks in your foundation? Or better yet, done the work to dig those up and rediscover the authentic version of you that was never harmed? See, we go through these life experiences, and these life experiences give us all of this data, and all this data turns into these lessons, and these lessons turn into what we came here to learn. So what have you learned from the lessons, from the experiences? And how can we take that to smooth out the cracks? How can we use the data and the lessons as filler to fill in the cracks in your foundation, to put you back at wholeness, to put you back where you're supposed to be? This is your life, baby. Don't let the things from your past. Don't let things that other people did or said, don't let anybody else's opinion of you become your reality. This is your opportunity. This is your life. You don't get a second one of these. So you might as well live it to its fullest. You might as well live it without fear. Because what I said about fear the other day was the smartest thing I've ever said. Fear is not real. Fear just simply means that you have been thinking a wrong thought long enough that you thought that it was real. It's not. There's nothing to fear about moving forward from this place where you are. There's nothing to fear about changing everything in your life, because a year ago, my life looked entirely different than it does today. A year from now, it'll look entirely different than it does again. And then what? And then I continue to grow. I continue to enjoy. I continue to create new experiences off the hinge and the foundation that I am being my most authentic self. I am being who I must be to live in this lifetime. I am loud. I am fun. I am all of these things. And if that can't be okay with others around me, I can't be in that space. I've learned this about myself. What is it that you've learned about you that someone has told you was wrong about you? But you said, no. That is me. That's who I am. Be that. Be more of that. Embrace more of you so that you can be more of you, so that you can have all of you. And anything or any experience or anyone or any experience with anyone that is supposed to occur in your life can only be the best of what it can be if you are the best of you. So whatever it takes. And if you need this red chair, I got one here for you. It's Wednesday, y'all. Let us continue to live our lives to the fullest. Tonight, I will be on Chat Daddy's show from 7 to 9 talking relationships and what ladies could do for they fellas for Sweetest Day. I got tons of ideas. I ain't got no boo to do them with, but I got a ton of ideas to do them. So you stay tuned on tonight so I can tell you all about what you should be doing. And we even gonna break it down to some things that you should not be doing to your man. Sometimes, ladies, we got to get a fellas a little grace. No, I'm serious. I mean that. Anyway, if this is your first call, welcome. If this is your everyday good morning routine, thank you very much for being with me. And if you've never heard anything about me, go to MoniqueSpence.com and learn some things. I'm here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning on Facebook Live right here with you. Have a great and wonderful day, everybody. Mwah! I love you all.